Alright, here we have our 1950 GMC shop truck. Sitting on a late model chassis. Did a 4.6 suspension drop on it. Did 2-inch coils and 2-inch spindles in the front and a flip kit on the rear. C-notched the chassis. Got the business name on the door. Got a Griffin aluminum radiator in the front. B&M transmission cooler. Small block Chevrolet. Board 30 over. New crank. Rods reconditioned. New cam. Just put a Wien Stealth intake on it. A new MSD HEI style distributor. It's got the Taylor 409 wires. They're 10mm wires. New firewall. See, we rolled some beads in the back there. The swinging pedals and the boosters out of the late model half-ton Chevy truck. Probably around the mid-80s. Engine's probably late 70s, if I remember correctly. Since the way we set the chassis up, the Griffin radiator's a little lower than the thermos, or where the fill would normally be, so we had to put the surge tank on it to have the fill at the highest level. Got the overflow bottle next to it. It's got a 200 R4 in it out of a Grand National. Stall converter, shift kit. It's got all stainless steel brake lines and fuel lines on it. Got an aftermarket steering shaft. I believe it's Flaming River. Yep, Flaming River U-joints. It's got the Hooker comp headers. The little hold downs are custom. We just welded little tabs on the side to keep it neat and clean. Nothing real special. Electric fan. We were able to modify the inner fenders to get them to fit. We had to cut off about 8 inches of the front frame horns. You see where it's capped off, and made a new front core support for the front end. Got all new bushings throughout. Got stainless lines on the transmission cooler. Got the stock headlights, stock turn signals with the amber bulbs. And you can see bottom of the hood. Doesn't look like the picture's coming out too good, but you can see there's no rust on the inside of the hood. The bottom's neat and clean. The seam's good. It's got March pulleys, March brackets, painted semi-gloss. We painted the engine, the block, basically the block, the heads, and the intake, and the water pump in gloss. And did all the accessories, valve covers, air cleaner, and a semi-gloss, just to kind of continue the blackout theme under the hood. You can see it's got all new fasteners. You can see the sheen on it's got a little bit of a sheen. It's not super flat. Again, it's PPG DBC black with a bunch of red pearl dumped in it. And the Concept 2021 clear, mixed 50% with flattening agent to give the sheen that we're looking at. We widened all 4 fenders 4 1/8 inches. We widened it right in between the grill shell and the headlights. Obviously that used to be a lot closer together. We left the running boards the same. We just brought them out a little bit. And since the fenders got widened, this piece here needed to get widened, and it was actually a little rusty, so we just made new panels from scratch and made it hug the body a little closer. The rear fenders, we widened it right in here to about here. The bed we made completely from scratch out of 18 gauge galvanized steel. Obviously the rolled edges of the bed were not nearly as big in diameter as this. This is actually 2.5-inch exhaust tubing that we just welded the bed right in here on the seam there and then capped it off. It's got the chrome chains. The nastiness here in the sleeve is actually the disgusting water we have at our facility. It's got high in iron, so it kind of discolors everything. Basically just needs a new set of sleeves. 39 Ford taillights with the blue dots. That's actually a 100% rust-free, all-original Chevrolet tailgate. Yes, it's a GMC with a Chevy tailgate. It was hanging on my buddy's wall and he gave it to me, so I threw it on there. I was actually going to make a custom taillight or a custom tailgate later. You can see the hitch for the trailer. The bed is gymnasium flooring, and it's got 3/4-inch marine grade plywood with the grain going in the opposite direction for strength. It's got a 65-66 Mustang gas tank in it with the fuel filler there. This back panel on the bed here is actually special thanks to all my friends and some businesses that kicked in on this to help me out with the build, and that is on a aluminum panel that is velcroed to the front, so that is removable. All new glass in the truck, all new weather stripping, new door handles. You see the chrome on the wheels, nice and clean, not bubbling up anywhere. All the tires are new. You see all the hardware and window cranks is all new. I do have the door panels, but I didn't put them on because I actually like the mechanical look of the end result there. We had to make a whole new floor, we made a new transmission tunnel, made a whole new dash from scratch. The seat frame is the original GMC, and it kind of sits at a dead 90, so we rotated it backwards a little bit so it raised where your knees went 4.5 inches, so I had to raise the steering column 4.5 inches. So I put the column where the gauges used to be, so I moved them over to the center, realized the dash was going to get chopped up, so we just made a new one. It started fitting so nice I figured we would bolt it in. So it's got some, I don't know if you can actually see that or not, but it's got some attractive fasteners on it. And again, the gauges are the original 50 GMC gauges, and that is the actual mileage. It's 3,479 miles. All of the original gauges work: temp, oil, charging, and fuel. That tack I've actually had for about 22 years. It's been in probably 5 or 6 of different of my vehicles. It's got a stereo underneath the seat. That piece just velcros on the windshield post. Handy. Stereo's all under the seat here. Everything's hidden. That piece of tape's just to keep the dirt and dust out of the opening for the CD. You got a engine turned aluminum panel. That's where the battery is. It's just velcroed on. And the seat upholstery is fresh. There's some discoloration there. That's not stained, it's just the position that the material is in. The headliner for the top. Functioning dome light. Seat frame was painted. Again, the swinging pedals and the steering column came out of the late model truck. It's got a low car shifter in it. Doors open and close, nice and clean. Just some aftermarket street rod mirrors that we thought looked good on it. Didn't have to do any metal work to the running boards. They were actually rust-free pieces that we were able to get a hold of. The original emblems, probably can't tell on the footage, but they're kind of pitted. They actually really need to get sent out and be re-chromed. There is no heat, no AC in the truck, but a vintage air unit will solve that. And no windshield wipers, but the areas for them are still there. We just capped them off so it doesn't leak. And that's probably about it for the details. I'm just going to kind of go around the truck kind of close just to maybe show some more detail. There's a couple of little paint chips because it does get driven. Most of that is just still some bug guts hanging out. A little bit of discoloration. Those are stainless trim rings. Again, you can see at the very bottom there's no bubbles. No bubbles in the bottom of the doors. These doors were actually rust free as well. Just had a couple little dings we had to take care of. Bottom of the cab corner. Looks like some paint chip right there. All four of these bed corner pieces are new. We were going to fab those ourselves, but when they were like $60 a piece, we figured we might as well just buy them. We made the bottoms of all four fenders because it had a little bit of Swiss cheese, and since we widened the fenders, if we bought the patch panels, we'd just have to widen the patch panels, so we just went ahead and made them from scratch. In this shot you can see a little bit of the red tint from the pearl. With the flattening agent, it pretty much kills it, so every once in a while you'll catch a little glimpse of it. The bed is stained and coated with several coats of polyurethane. You can see the eyelets there that we welded in if you wanted to haul something or put a motorcycle in the bed. You can see the stainless fasteners, the new bumpers. It's got Giuliano's seat belts in it. The dash and these covers are the only two pieces on the truck that actually have shiny clear on it. You see it's got a pretty clean image reflection on it. When the sun's out, you can actually see the pearl pretty hardcore in the dash. These gauges here were actually just temporary until we could get the new intake on it and get it all prepped out for the original gauges. But now the original gauges are functioning, so those are coming out, and we're just going to cut right here so we can leave the panel for the headlight switch, or we might move the switch onto the dash and just hide it all together. It's got a little paint chip there on the corner there we're going to touch up, and a little paint chip there. The original emblem on the front. It's an all one piece. Very hard piece to come by. If I'm not mistaken, you can't even buy that piece new. The grill, just expanded metal, nothing special. That's actually temporary. I was going to build a fiberglass bumper that resembled a 56 Caddy with some crossbars and a different grill. Just hadn't got to it. Probably leave that for somebody else to finish off. No, officer, I have no idea how them black lines got on the asphalt.